Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And this is a review for 2008 Mirrors.
Old ass movie.
Yeah.
But we're all about it. And guess what? The title is actually really good because mirrors, what you try to avoid when you've been drinking all night and the next day comes around. Kiefer Sutherland stars in this.
He does.
And what a wonderful human being he is from Flatliners.
He looks like he had a few dark nights in Texas during this. This is a Patreon especial review for Ramona Gothic. We have a tier on our Patreon where you can pick a movie that you want us to review or do a commentary for. Ramona Gothic picked a great one, 2008's Mirrors. This is right around the time of a beautiful time in horror when they would release these movies. Hills Have Eyes, same director, Alexander Aja. Take on Me.
Take on Me.
By Aja, Alexander Aja, to be
Swedish
specific. Yeah, directed this. He directed The Hills Have Eyes. But this is a time in horror when they would release a movie and then they would always release the DVD to be like the unrated version that you haven't seen. And it was never.
And it was really just like Kiefer Sutherland peeing in an alley. Like, I didn't really. You could have just put that in the movie. By the way, I will say one thing. I'm sorry that I look like someone from The Social Network, the movie with Jesse Eisenberg, that was like, he goes, "Are you tapped in? Aren't you tapped in?" Oh yeah. Like I forgot. I look like that guy. I'm not like the cool guy like Andrew Garfield, but
I'm digging the hair.
I hate it. It's
like
going to
it.
be changed. I just haven't got it to the barber.
I think you should let it
side
go.
note, that's what I want to do.
Let
Sidebar.
it grow. Let it grow.
I hate that movie.
I like it.
Frozen.
But no, so Mirrors. This is one of those movies. It's actually, but it was a weird time in horror because they would actually make movies that had bite to them. They were mean as fuck. They were nasty.
Yeah.
And this movie wasn't quite that crazy, but there's a couple.
It got there. It almost did.
Yeah, dude. There were some violent ass scenes in this movie.
Vin Diesel's fucking thumb was right over that NOS button. It was right over that NOS button. He was like, you not family yet. But yeah, man, I gotta say, the only thing about this movie that I liked, I remember watching this movie back in the day, and you know, I've always had like an avoidance to certain horror movies. This didn't strike my fancy to avoid because there was no herky jerky shit, and I liked Kiefer Sutherland a lot. So I was like, I watched it. I really kind of I enjoyed it back then when it came out. I think I bought it on DVD at Walmart at like fucking midnight, back when they used to sell it Monday night. The thing about it is, I think it's great. I think the pacing has got issues. There's a lot of pacing issues because sometimes you just get bored as fuck and nothing happens. And the length of the movie is too long. It's an hour and 59 minutes. If they'd made this movie an hour and 30 minutes, I think you are on golden mountaintops of the tit.
I totally agree. And so that's what happens to me. So he is an ex-cop who had a shooting, kind of like Danny Glover did in Lethal Weapon 3.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a kid. I killed a kid. He had a shooting.
Have a French fry.
He's dealing with it emotionally. His wife and kids have left him, or they had a divorce, whatever the fuck's going on. They're separated because of all the.
His ex-wife's hot as shit, though.
Yeah. And they make an excuse later in the movie for her to be wet too. Did you notice? Like, it's like, oh, the tub's leaking, so she's soaking wet and wearing a white top.
Did anyone complain? You're fired if you did.
But yeah, so he killed a guy and he had a bunch of PTSD about it, and it ended him going crazy, starting to drink a lot. So his wife and him became estranged, and he's trying to get his life back together. So he takes the security guard job at this old fucking night at the museum where Ben Stiller used to work.
Yeah.
That's how the movie opens.
But there's no fucking Robin Williams to save the day.
Not in this film.
No way.
That's how the movie opens. The old security guards, and it's an old department store that burnt down. Huge fucking, looks like the White House.
Yeah.
Department store that burnt down, that's full of mirrors, and because department stores have a lot of mirrors.
You know that would be a
mannequins.
type of department store that the Kardashians would definitely frequent.
Yeah, 100%. It's a Macy's basically that's burnt down.
They would have like their own individual like colon cleansing section, as well as like heroin.
That's how the movie opens. The old security guards will run around in mirrors, and the mirrors are like looking at him. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'll clean you. I'll make it cool. I can make it cool again, Steve." And he starts trying to clean the mirror. The mirror starts cracking, and basically the mirror shows you a version of yourself, and then the mirror kills itself, and then it kills you. And these mirrors are fucking haunted. The worst part of this movie is the story, because it makes no goddamn sense.
It's so weird about this story because the story itself, when you watch the whole movie and you understand what they're going for, it started off as a very simple type of horror. Like, it was very like, okay, we got it. Like, this is what it is. And then it tried to shift into Turbo, Power Rangers, M. Night Shyamalan shit. Like, toward the end.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get real fancy with it. Like, it's like if somebody was knitting a sweater and it's like a basic sweater, and then they went back and they're like, I can make it better though, and they try to add a design on it.
I can make it cool.
And then it just turns out like shit, and you're like, yeah, but now it looks like Mom, I asked you to make me an NWO shirt, and now it says fuck you, or FWO or something, because the N turned out wrong. But also, I will point out a big shout out to Jason Fleming, who played Barry Beers in Rockstar, and I'm just the queen. Damn you.
Dude, that guy's awesome.
I love him.
That guy's such a good freaking actor.
And he was also in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Wasn't he in Warlock too?
No.
That wasn't
But he was in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as Dr. Hyde, Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde.
Dude, was he the kicker in The Replacements? The one that smoked cigarettes all
the time? Yes, that's him.
I thought that was Reese Ifans.
I think the biggest thing that comes from this movie is like they set the scene up really well. They have this intensity about it, and they set the atmosphere about it, and then you're like, ooh, I'm expecting something, and then fucking nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the mirror had some fucking fog breath on it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I gotta get some Windex.
They set it up nice because like the opening scene again is that security guard, and it slits his throat, and it slits it bad. It gets in there all nice and deep. I mean, it gets fucking deep in there, and you're like, oh, we're in for a mean ass horror movie, a typical Alexander Aja film, who did High Tension, by the way, which was nasty.
I try to avoid tension in my life.
It had that Alexander Aja movie feel to it, whereas when it got down with the sickness, it went, wah! It did that shit.
Yeah.
Like, it would do it, but there was long swaths in between where you're like, oh my God, I get it.
Yeah.
Why are we trying to make this overcomplicated? As you said, too fucking long. But so, and the whole thing, they do the Chucky thing where he's like, I'm seeing things in mirrors, and everybody's like, you're a psycho, and you drink too much, and you're taking too many of your pills, and nobody believes him, so he has to run around for 30 minutes of the movie saying, no, I really mean this, Steve.
I was like, first off, you used to be an NYPD cop. You dealt with crazies all the time in your career. Do you not think when you say shit that you're gonna say, like you're goddamn the Mad Tinkerer from fucking Batman, that you're gonna that people are gonna be like, what? You didn't bring any proof. Oh, you're like, I got a mirror. Look at it.
It's real, John.
Look, everything is backward. See? like no one's gonna believe anything you fucking said from your lips. I feel like there was major slips, especially on poignant moments in the movie where it really could have. It's make or break. I feel like with the audience that it can make your audience and like people are really a lot more invested. But if it's so out there and there's no way that anybody would act like that, or there's no way that a normal functioning that used to be an NYPD cop would do, it takes you right out of the movie, and you're like, all right, so this is so stupid now.
You're watching it, and they're pretty good at showing scares, and when the gore happens, it's gnarly, and it's scary. There's a lot of stuff that happens with those mirrors that's really fucked up, and he sees like burn victims and shit, like screaming, and there's really fucked up, really well-made and well-directed horror moments in the movie, but as you go through the movie, the story makes zero fucking sense at all. The story's like, well, there's this lady, a seeker, and he's gonna find her, and she's a nun, and he goes Jack Bauer on her, he's like, I swear to fuck God, don't make me threaten you. And then he's just like, you're gonna come back to this place with me because I'm not losing my family. And she goes,
the fuck did we go into a James Patterson novel?
She's just like, okay, I guess I'll go. So she just immediately is like, she's like, all right, I'll go. And then he takes her, she's like, all right, well, you're gonna want to close your eyes because I'm about to get ripped to fucking smithereens.
Yeah, and you just lost all the goodwill for your hero character because he just threatened a fucking nun at gunpoint and said, come back and get possessed by a demon. I don't care if it shoves a big old ivory cock in your ass. You're gonna come back and save my family.
And she goes,
so
okay.
There goes the hero points. Good job. Awesome writing.
That scene was badass though, because the way that she gets blown up, I was like, oh fuck.
Well, it was.
But she's just like, strap me in, Jim. Let's go. She just was she was cool with it all of a sudden. She was like, well, you pulled a gun, so I guess I'll just let this demon butt fuck me. And then
she got blown up like a fucking Five Gums commercial.
And then the demon becomes her, and it's like, this is really cool. Like the demon was scary.
But then it was like
droopy fucking mouth.
I loved it, but it was like, but then it became like.
Action
all the time. It felt like, and I like that movie, it felt like Darkness Falls, but the thing about Darkness Falls was Darkness Falls knew what it was. Like, it didn't pretend to be something else. This movie had 3 different fucking ideas of what it wanted to do. Like, it never really landed on any of them, but it was trying to combine 3 different genres, or at least 3 different attempts into a horror movie. Like, you had an M. Night Shyamalan kind of ending.
The ending, for sure.
Yeah, you had like almost like a Exorcist thing in the middle of it. Then you had like some what Darkness Falls thing, and then you had like some detective shit. I feel
The
like
rules made no fucking
it just
sense.
It didn't know what it wanted to be. I think that
Yeah.
the biggest problem with this movie is that you don't know what it wants to be. I enjoyed it personally because I felt like the acting was strong. I didn't like it because the pacing is off, and it's just too long. It's just too long of a movie. You swath off 30 minutes, I think you're golden.
Yeah, I think you are too. And also, you have to make a coherent story. This movie would just make up the rules as it went along. Like, all of a sudden, this demon could, like, leave the fucking museum, and it could come into your house, and it could attack your kids. Oh, but now I can use puddles. So it's like, and all of a sudden, the kid gets sucked into the puddle, and it's like, wait a minute, why is the kid in the fucking puddle? What is happening right? The movie makes no fucking sense, story point-wise, but just, like, if you're watching it viscerally, the action scenes are pretty good. The scary scenes, the in-your-face shit's really good. Kiefer Sutherland did a great job. And they kind of did use kind of like a little bit older, a little bit on that side of his career, Kiefer Sutherland. He kind of looked like a broken down security guard. I'm not trying to say shit because I look like a broken down security guard.
I mean, we both do now.
I'm just saying, like, they use that to its advantage.
Me and Mike were actually security guards. I was a security guard twice.
So they use that to their advantage. And again, like you said, the acting, Kiefer Sutherland was great. Amy Smart plays his sister, and she's
got the best death scene.
It's the memorable moment of the whole fucking movie, dude. When she goes in the bathroom, and again, the rules make no fucking sense because all of a sudden the thing's like, I can jump into your friend's mirrors. It's like, okay, I guess that's happening.
When I saw that, I'm like, God damn.
Oh man,
somebody hated Amy Smart's fucking performance in Butterfly Effect. You stupid whore! You should have saved Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, it basically.
Dude, by the way, I will say it's almost like ruined her. I mean, she's an attractive lady, no doubt. She's a good actress, but it's almost ruined me every time I see Amy Smart. I see that broken down, dirty ass, dungy ass fucking waitress, like smoking cigarettes, and be like, "Where were you, Ethan?"
I did meth, not even once.
Fuck you, bitch! I was living my life. Like, I don't know, but yeah, but she had the best death scene. That was the best.
Awesome, and again, this is you get Alexander Ahad making the movie, and he doesn't direct a great movie. The story makes no fucking sense, but you get those little moments, and that's what makes it kind of I wouldn't call it a cult classic, but it's one of those 2000 horror movies that some people are like, that one fucking rocks. I don't care what anybody says, and I get what you're saying. That scene though, the thing shows up in the mirror and she turns away from it, and then it goes,
yeah, well, don't give it away.
Oh yeah, and it's just, dude,
it's gnarly.
It is hard to watch.
It's gnarly.
Fucking,
because you can hear it too. The cracking.
Oh, and the
Kraken has been released from the ocean. Yeah, you know what it is. It's kind of like when a Phil Collins song comes on that just fucking hits, and you're like, fuck, man, like that's just like that's killing it right there. Like Susudio, I didn't expect it coming on tonight. Like if you're driving home late at night and you're like, you've just been listening to like fucking Sam Smith bullshit, and then all of a sudden the studio comes on, you're like, God, man.
It literally melted
I feel
my face.
like lit, and then all of a sudden it's a really shitty song afterwards. But hey, man, I gotta be honest, I like this movie quite a bit. I really did enjoy myself watching this movie, so I'm gonna give this movie a 7.0. Yeah. I think that the movie, again, we've talked about this, the pacing is off, it's just not, it's all over the place. The acting is solid, really good stuff. The writing is, a motherfucker was writing strong and then smoked a hashish pipe and then wrote on the wall, and then he forgot to write some of the stuff down on the script. Like, I feel like there's things that are missing, and they were going in different directions, and they didn't know.
It made no fucking sense.
Well, yeah, it's like they didn't know how to land the movie. They didn't. It's like, goddamn, the air controllers are out. I guess we'll just land this bitch in the ocean. But yeah, overall, it's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
I just wish, and also it's too long. If they had just cut off 30 minutes, made a little toiter on the plot,
like a toiga,
I think this movie would be remembered a lot more fondly. Again, but it is one of those movies that's lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, but it's got moments that go hard. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, the dialogue's not bad, the acting's not bad. As far as the writing goes, the dialogue's good, but, like, the story, there's no fucking rules. None of the rules make any goddamn sense. They just willy-nilly and then the ending comes up, and it's like, wait, what the fuck? They're trying to shock you and be like, oh my God, I bet you didn't know.
Look at this!
Yeah, and you're like, but that doesn't add up to the rest of you're just doing shit.
They're like Dewey in Scream. They're like, ah! When he was holding the basket up. You didn't get scared.
You're doing, like, that sounds cool, let's do it. Like, it doesn't actually tie together at all. If you actually look at it and try to take it seriously, you can't. But that being said, great moments. great vibes at certain times, great special effects at certain times.
Acting is good too.
acting. So it's definitely not
And
the worst.
I didn't hate the
mid-2000s.
kids, which I was pleased about.
The son was a little annoying. He was like, "I'm being weird."
I'm sorry, you hate Cameron Boyce?
He was so over the top. Like, I don't understand why Daddy's upset because I'm fine. It was like he was like, "Hey, be fucking creepy," and he was like, "All right, I'll be creepy."
Yeah, I'd probably throw that motherfucker in the mirror and kept the daughter.
Fuck it.
Hey man, it's a good movie. If you guys have maybe looked over Mirrors, maybe don't look over it. Like, give it a shot. By the way, it was
Not a bad time.
It was going to be called Into the Mirrors, and they're like, no.
Yeah, it was based on a Japanese movie. It was one of those that they did in the mid-2000s, like The Ring and stuff like that. And apparently, Into the Mirrors, the original Japanese film, was way better, of course, as they typically are. But again, because of how visceral it was, because of how fucking mean it was at times, it makes for a decent mid-2000s horror watch. I give it a 6. I give it a strong 6.
It's okay, that's all right.
Strong 6.
That's all right.
Ramona Gothic, thank you.
By the way, Ramona. Awesome pick. Loved it. Thank you for recommending it and for us to discuss this evening. But I will say one thing about it is I feel like they wanted to go really visceral in certain scenes, and then either the NPAA held them back, or they were just like, yeah.
There is an unrated version too.
Yeah, but even that, I don't think.
Probably like just a.
Yeah, like I said, it was like Kiefer Sutherland peeing in it.
It's like half a wiener.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I saw his tip. But yeah, thank you for the recommendation. Really good stuff. And again, check it out if you guys haven't seen it. It's worth a watch.
Some really good haunted house type of moments where it all takes place in that big.
You know why I didn't get scared? I never got scared, and I'm scared of like ghost movies, but because Kiefer Sutherland is such a badass,
you felt safe.
You felt good.
You did feel safe behind him.
You felt good.
You're
like it's like your dad going out to check the loud noise he heard by the trash can. Like, Dad's got it.
100%, dude. That one scene was funny as fuck though, because he decides he's like. He did overact though, like at certain scenes, because I don't know, he's been in horror before, but like when he would get scared, he would go, "What the fuck?" Like he would over the top. And there's one scene where he's like, "Oh my god, it's coming to get my family." So he drives to his family's house and he starts like painting the mirrors and shit. And they're like, "What are we doing?" He's like, "It'll all make sense at the end, trust me."
Oh yeah.
But then he takes the mirrors outside. He's like, "No, I swear to God, watch this." And he pulls out a gun in a suburban neighborhood and starts fucking shooting the thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's not changing."
Yeah, he was like,
over the top.
Oh, that was terrible. That was a bad acting scene. That was like, and that was on purpose, by the way. That was like when Mel Gibson in Signs, "I'm losing my mind," and he was running around the house. But the fact is, like, Mel Gibson was doing that on purpose. Kiefer was trying to act.
He was, yeah.
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Fuck it, it is.
I would like to have Kiefer on the show one day, so I don't want to like. You know, someone's like, "Oh, see what they said about your acting ability."
You remember the scene in the morgue where he pulls out the thing and it turns to look at him, he goes, "God damn!"
Hey,
throws himself out of the picture.
Hey, Kiefer, man, I think I love you in Young Guns.
He's a great actor, but he overacts it. But it actually helps the movie be more entertaining. So yeah, hey, Ramona Gothic, thank you, thank all you fuckstick shit butts for watching this, and we love your fucking faces.
Yeah, tap that off, blow it off, and put it in there.
Oh,
it felt good.
That was quick.
I almost came.
You did.
I did. I know. It's salty.
Halloween never ends, suck my fucking dick, and I don't really care what Blumhouse fucking says. Put him in a box or suck a fucking cock. You can say he's dead, but we all know he's not, yeah. So let's go trick-or-treating, let's go fucking drinking, let's all go rent Pumpkinhead on VHS, cause Halloween never ends.